What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another UFC fight card breakdown. If you're new to these, my name's Lucas. His name's Rohan. And today we'll be breaking down UFC Saudi Arabia from front to back. It should be good. Should be a good one. One of the best fight nights we've seen in a while.
Definitely.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great card. Rohan, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm looking forward to this week. Izzy, my favorite fighter, is back, trying to stay in the title picture. Hopefully, even if he loses, I think because this could be a very close competitive fight. But even if he loses, I don't want him to retire. So I'm just praying he has a good fight. But I'm excited for the card. Excited for this week. I'm doing well. How about you, bro? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well. School, just living life. Missing you.
Yeah, man.
Got a little friend here that wants to say what's up. Hey, what the fuck?
Did she just run away from me?
Dude, I was going to pick her up. Come here. Hey.
Man, I need to see her too.
Come here.
If he's trying to get Chia, our friends. There she is. Oh,
What do you got, Izzy or Imavov?
yeah,
That's not like an Izzy. All right, you gotta go.
let's go. But now, man, we're worlds apart, different sides of the country, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I unfortunately think Adesanya will retire if he loses, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Just posting this on the story real quick. But yeah, as I mentioned, banger card. We got Adesanya in the main. Who's co-main? Is that Shara MVP?
Yeah, Shara MVP co-main is crazy.
And then Rosenstrike, Pavlovich. Can Pavlovich bounce back?
I think you will, but we'll get into that later.
We'll get into it later. Okay, I'm ready to go. Let's hop on the Tapology, and let's get this bitch going. 11 fights. We've had a few cancellations, unfortunately, but it's okay because we're still break it down. It's okay. Not any important fights really canceled, thank God.
No, not really.
Okay, here we are. You can see?
Yeah, I got you.
Boom. All right, let's get into it. First fight on the card. Hamdi Abdalwahab taking on Jamal Pogues. Oh man, this is a horrible fight. Horrible. Here's the thing. I mean, if I get the guarantee that the Hamdi from the Dontel Mays fight is showing up to this fight, I'm putting a lot of money on him. Here's the problem. That win was turned into a no contest. He hasn't fought in 2.5 years. And the reason is he popped. He popped for PEDs, and we really don't know how he's going to look. This fight has a massive question mark around it. And to be honest, I don't know. It's literally up to, is Hamdi still in that great shape as he was? Or are the PEDs not being in his system going to affect him big time? So we really don't know. Honestly, Rohan, I don't have a clue with this one. I'll let you break it down. Go ahead.
I mean, I watched what tape I could on both of these guys. Obviously, not a lot of UFC fights on either of their resumes. Jamal only has 3, Hamdi only 3 MMA fights. So that Dontel Mays fight, you referred to that. I was impressed with the cardio. Obviously, there's an asterisk with that because of the steroids, but I was very much not impressed with his striking. I thought even for like a low volume guy in Dontel Mays, who is not even known for a high output, he was still managing to land and almost actually finished Hamdi in the second round before he bounced back. So I just think that, look, Jamal Pogues, he's been in the UFC for a little bit now. He fought in the LFA. He's got decent enough striking, decent enough head movement. I think he's going to win the minutes on the feet. But the problem is Hamdi's going to be looking for that takedown the entire fight. So with the cardio not being really a guarantee at this point with the steroid popping, I just think that you can't really trust him to keep that pace up for 3 rounds against somebody who, in Jamal Pogues, I think he's decent enough with the takedown defense as well. I think he can hold his own, stay upright for enough of the time to keep it on the feet and do the better work. But I'm not confident at all in either of these guys. There's a lot of questions on both sides, but I'm going to pick Pogues.
Yeah, I'm going to go, man, I don't know. Like, it's just so tough. We really don't know. But if I have to blind guess, I mean, I guess I'll take Hamdi. Why not? I really don't know. I'm waiting until the wins, see how Hamdi looks.
Yeah, that's
like a complete blob. I don't.
Yeah.
So to be honest, for now, guys, I'd just stay away. Let's just move on. There's better fights to talk about. Next fight on the card, we have Bogdan Grad taking on Lucas Alexander. To be honest, these first 2 fights are the fights where I just don't really have a read on, and everything else I feel like I do. With this fight, it's tough because Lucas Alexander is by far the more talented fighter. It's just the thing about Grad is he's just an absolute dog. Round 1, Alexander's going to look great. He's going to be piecing him up. But then as the fight goes on, Grad's going to be pushing the pace. So we really don't know. I feel like this is a live bet scenario. If Grad can make it out of round one, you'd probably be able to get him at like plus 400, plus 500. That's how I'm looking at it. If you want to bet on it, when it comes to an overall pick, I don't know. It's going to come down to that second round. I feel like round one is going to go to Alexander. He's going to win the first half of second round, and then Grad's going to slowly pick it up and turn this into a dogfight. Yeah, it's a tough fight to call. I don't know. Who do you got?
Yeah, I'm with you there, and this is a really tough fight to call because they're very contrasting styles. Lucas Alexander, I mean, he was knocked out pretty bad. Was that his last fight that he got? I mean, put out real bad. I think it was Jacob Sergey. Yeah, yeah.
That
I mean, he
bum.
caught
Oh my
him.
God, it's horrible.
Yeah, and he caught him bad and put him out and really just highlighted some concerns with Alexander's chin. But at the same time, throughout that fight, and if he didn't, that was sort of a weird scramble where he kind of lost his head for a second. But the majority of that fight, he was looking really, really crisp on the feet. He will have the striking skill advantage in this matchup for sure. I mean, he's faster, he's more technical, he's more accurate. He mixes it up better than Grad. Like I do trust Lucas Alexander to win a lot of minutes on the feet and really test Grad and his head movement. But like you mentioned, that guy is a dog. Like he comes forward with no regard. He'll throw bombs. And one thing I think is really underrated about him is his wrestling. I think a lot of his wins have come from wrestling exchanges where he's had to, survive a few scrambles, get back up, but then bring the fight back down and really win minutes on the ground. And I think this is somebody that he can do that against. Lucas Alexander doesn't have great takedown defense. He's a pretty skinny frame. I think Grad's going to have the strength advantage here. So I think there's going to be a real war. Honestly, I think, like you said, Alexander early and then Grad late. I think that's the way to look at this, honestly. And I'm going to go with, is he an underdog? I'm going to pick Grad to win this one just based off grit, toughness. I think he can overcome the striking deficit and just mix in some wrestling and win this one.
Yeah, I believe the line is dead even.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much how I would have it too. So it's a real close fight.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the other side. I'll take Alexander. I just think in a case in which it's going to be 50-50, I'm going to take the guy who is going to have the prettier fighting style for the judges. And I think round one, round two will probably go to Alexander. So I'm going to go Lucas Alexander wins by decision. Yeah, it should be interesting, though. It's going to be a good one. A banger. Low-level fight, but a banger. Let's move on. Next fight on the card, we have Jasmine Jazz Davicius taking on Mayra Bueno Silva. Yeah, I like Jazz Davicius here. She's just a dog. You always want to take not the underdog, but you want to take the fighter that just is a dog, and that's what Jazz Davicius is. This 3-fight win streak has been very impressive. I mean, she just grinded out Lipsky, who was looking pretty good, got the third-round finish, great win. Decision win against Fatima Klein, who's a really good prospect, although she stepped in on short notice. Jazz Davicius, again, she just dogged it out, submitted Cachoeira as she should have, completely dominated that fight as she should have. Lost to Tracy Cortez. I mean, Cortez is solid, so no real shame in that. Yeah, here's the thing with this fight. I mean, Mayra is going to win round one, and I think she's going to gas after the first half of the fight, and I think Jazz Davicius is just going to put it on her. So I think it's either another round 3 finish for Jazz Davicius or a decision. It's just I'm going to take the dog, the pace, the cardio. I'm always going to side with that side. Maybe you live bet it after round one. I don't know. We'll see. Jazz Davicius, I think she gets it done.
Yeah. This is one of the only fights that I didn't have a lot of notes on because I'm really confident in Jazz Davicius here. I think that like you said, I mean, the fighting style of hers is one that in the women's side of things, in the women's bracket, like it works. It works because you just keep that pace, keep that pressure. And obviously the wrestling is the best base, and she's got that. She has great wrestling, great pressure, great top control. Like she's able to just keep her opponents down, do damage, get some finishes. Like she's had a really impressive run in that fight against Ariane Lipsky. I think I picked Lipsky in that one, and she shut me up real fast. I mean, the wrestling was too good. And I think here, look, Mayra Bueno Silva, I can't believe that she's been in a title fight, but she has. So, I mean, she's been around the block. She has some decent wins and some decent jiu-jitsu, which is why I think, like, obviously, Mayra's no slouch. She hits hard, number one, on the feet. She's not clean, but she hits hard. And then on the ground, I mean, she's never really scared to be taken down because she knows that when she is taken down, I can, throw up an armbar, throw up a triangle and catch. That's a lot of her wins have come like that as well. So I think she's going to be welcoming those takedowns some of the time. And that's just not the approach that you want to have against Jasmine because, I mean, she's going to take you down and not let you get back up because she's going to. And then, like you said, with the cardio issues as well on the Bueno Silva side, like the round 2, round 3, I think those are just going to be Jasmine all day. she's going to score early takedowns and just hold her there, honestly. So I think this is an easy win for Jasmine. And it's another great name to have under your belt as well. So I like the spot for her.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a good stylistic matchup. I don't believe she's been finished, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't think she gets finished. I think Myra looks good early and then fades, similar to a lot of Jazz Davicius fights. Look at the Lipsky fight. Lipsky looked good.
Yeah,
Faded.
and she's a good kickboxer as well. So I thought she would be able to do some damage on the feet, but Jasmine neutralized it because she's got that pace. So yeah.
Yep. Let's move on. Next fight on the card, Terrence McKinney versus Damir Hadzovic. Before we get into it, we got some people in the chat. We got Will. What up, Will? Hope you're doing well. My boy JT Vlogs thought it was for UFC 312. UP, what's going on? FBA, what's going on? Hope you guys are well. Banger fight night. We're not at the banger fights, although this is, whenever Terrence McKinney fights, it's fucking crazy. What's your lock parlay for Saturday? To be honest, I was looking at this card, I was just thinking, what are my bets going to be a few days ago?
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I don't think there's any secure parlay pieces at all. This is more of a just straight bet card. I'm not gonna lie, I can't give you a lock parlay. I don't think there is one for this card. But listen to this breakdown. There's a lot of underdogs that I like this weekend, which is surprising. Usually I'm a big favorite guy, which isn't good, but I like the underdogs this week. I like them a lot. So this one I don't know about. Terrence McKinney versus Damir Hadzovic. I mean, we know what's the deal with McKinney. He's round one or bust. And this is a step down going from Esteban Ribovics to Damir Hadzovic. Yeah, McKinney should win this. I think he gets a submission. Round one, takes him down, rear naked choke. We saw Moicano did it to Hadzovic in 50 seconds. I know McKinney's no Moicano, but in round one, McKinney's fucking John Jones, GSP, Mighty Mouse combined. So, yeah, I like McKinney. Round one, sub, rear naked choke. That's what's going to happen, Rohan.
Yeah, honestly, it's really not a lot of different outcomes for this fight because that's the case for every Terrence fight. I mean, all of his wins have damn near come within the first 2 minutes of the first round. It's not like it's just right away, snap of the finger. And I just think that ultimately when you're fighting somebody like Hadzovic, who, I mean, he's got some of the worst takedown defense, that it was so easy to, I mean, I was watching the tape on the Moicano fight, and I skipped to one moment in the first couple of minutes, and he's already transitioned from his side to the back. And I'm like, damn, bro, how did you let that happen so easily? And yeah, I mean, Terrence McKinney's grappling is very underrated part of his game. Obviously, he's always looking for that knockout shot, but Hadzovic throws with power too. So I mean, if he's smart and watches the tape, he's going to know immediately what the path to victory is. And he's done it before. We've seen this guy have quick submissions, quick knockouts. When he finishes fights and when he wins fights, it happens very, very early. So the only way, if you are on the McKinney side, which we both are, to look at this is an early finish for Terrence, because it's not going to go any other way. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it literally just comes down to, is he going to get the knockout or is he going to get the sub?
Yeah.
I think it's a sub. I think Damir's a pretty tough guy. Yes, he's on the older end when it comes to not only fight years, but actual age, 38 years old. But I do feel like McKinney's very, very talented on the ground, very talented. I think he wrestles. He talks a lot about wanting to wrestle more. I think he does it here, and I think he finds a sub. FBA saying, by the way, is my internet good? I'm getting a little
on the top. On my end, you're good. You're perfect on my end.
We got FBS saying, hearing Volk Ilya 2 for 314. What would the odds be? Does Volk have any chance? I mean, I think Ilya is minus 300, minus 350.
Yeah, he's definitely higher than he was last time. He's in the minus 350 plus range for sure, because after that knockout and back to back like that, I mean, and the age gap and Ilya knocking out Max, man, that's a whole lot in between those two fights to increase those odds. So Volk has a chance. I want to say Volk has a chance because he's taken the proper amount of time off, right? At this point, if he came back, a couple months from now, you're like, fine, that's a great amount of time to recover. And he is Volk. This is one of the best fighters in the UFC's history. But man, it's so hard to see him winning. It's just because the grappling is not going to be there, and he has done that to certain opponents in the past where he knows he's not going to have the striking advantage. He will mix in the grappling, whether it's Max, whether it's Jose Aldo. He's done it to a lot of different people, but you can't do that to Ilya because he's too stocky. He's too big for that. And striking it, I just think Ilya's boxing is a little too clean. And he's the same height. I mean, you touched on that a few times before both of those fights, mentioning how being closer in height to Volk actually might help him out because Volk is one that capitalizes on that, being able to get inside on those taller fighters. But Ilya doesn't give you that opportunity, so I don't think he has a chance.
Yeah, I think I literally can't see it going any other way than the first fight. Like maybe it's from a gambling side, it's another live bet perspective. Like the fight's like close round one, maybe Volk wins, but then I mean Topuria is just going to track him down and catch him again. I mean, yeah, he's taking. You're right. He's taken the right amount of time off. It's going to be what, over a year since he had last fought, but Topuria's power is different, man. It's different. Let's move on though. We got my boy Justin in the chat. What up, Justin? Hope you're doing well. Next fight on the card, we have. What do we have? What do we have?
Shamil. Ugh.
Oh my God, Shamil versus Peterson. Yeah, I mean, I can't sit here and give you guys a detailed breakdown. I mean, both fighters okay on the feet. Both fighters pretty solid on the ground. It's going to be who's striking. I mean, whose cardio is going to hold up. And to be honest, Rohan, I may pick Thomas Peterson to win this fight outright and take plus 275. I think it's a great bet here. I mean, I just do not understand the line. Shamil Gaziev is not good. Like, he's not. He beat Dante Mays, but like, you see him in round 3. But thank God for him, Dante Mays is fucking horrible, and he was able to, get the takedowns that mattered. He got exposed by Rosenstrike. Yes, it was a massive step up, but he got exposed. I mean, the guy was gassed the fuck out and was just getting beat up on the feet. Beat Budai. Budai sucks. Look, Thomas Peterson, man, 9-2, right? He's been knocked out once before. That was an LFA. Here's the thing. I mean, I don't know. He just looked good. I mean, he fought Muhammad Usman in his last fight, and obviously Muhammad Usman sucks. But Thomas Peterson, man, I think this line is just way off, way off. I mean, Gaziev is just, for somebody that gasses out, it's either a Gaziev round 1 knockout like he did to Budai, or I think Peterson's just going to make round 2, round 3 really close. I guess I'll pick Gaziev outright. I'd probably line him like minus 150, minus 160, just because the durability of Peterson's a question. But man, this line is just so wrong. I have to put a little small bet on Peterson here, man.
Yeah, that's not a bad call, because I mean, watching Peterson's tape and just looking at his past, this guy, even in his losses, like, he's been competitive. I think it was Jamal Pose was his only loss in his last 5 fights overall, and he was pretty competitive. He was actually doing pretty well in the first round, but Jamal actually just had better head movement and was just landing cleaner shots. Even though it might not look like that to the judges, because he was still coming forward and eating all those shots. Like, his nose was busted up, he was bleeding all down his face, but he was still coming forward and throwing heavy shots, not necessarily landing. And that's what the problem is for me. I hate the price. I agree with you there. The line on Gaziev, especially after Dante Mays, is not an impressive win for any heavyweight, especially not him. And then you're right. That's the definition of getting exposed by Jairzinho Rosenstrike, when you're taking a step up, when people are looking to see if you are on that next level. And I mean, he got absolutely destroyed. And I mean, the cardio was horrible. So yeah, I think Peterson is going to be fresher later. And it's all about, can he not get finished? But Gaziev is going to be at a big, like, just technical striking advantage. I think he is a cleaner striker. He's very low output for some reason. I don't really understand that, because like, he doesn't need to be, but he's just a cleaner striker. He takes his time more. I think he'll probably hurt Thomas Peterson a few times early. And also, I mean, the wrestling is there for him. I think Peterson's done a good job in the past, but he hasn't really fought anybody with like great ground and pound. I think Shamil when he's facing bums, like, he's able to just kind of run through him, ground and pound him out. So I don't know. I don't really see that happening. But that's the thing. It's either like, because I can't see him winning a 3-round decision either, because that round 3, he's going to lose that round 3, because Thomas Peterson is going to feel so good about himself that he's gotten to that point. So I don't know, man. This is a tough one to call for me, honestly. I don't have the best read on it, just because Shamil is just, I mean, it was such a bad look against Jairzinho, but I think I'm going to pick him with the crowd advantage, the judges advantage. If it does go to a decision and a split decision, I'll see the judges robbing Thomas Peterson and giving Shamil the decision. So I'm going to pick Gaziev, but man, I cannot feel good about it. And I don't know if he's going to finish him either. So I don't know.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, I feel like split decision is probably a good look. I see a scenario in which Peterson probably sneaks it out, but they just give a split to Gaziev. But yeah, again, like, this line is just, it's wrong. I hear what you're saying though. TV television saying Topuria got no comp right now. Yeah, I agree. I think he Probably knocks out Volk again. I think he finishes Lopez. Yeah, featherweight, there's no comp. We'll probably see him move up soon. JT Vlogs, will we get a stream for UFC 312? That's like asking, is the fucking sky blue? Of course. Of course you will. Yeah, I don't think anybody can beat Topuria. Shamil Blobgaziev is the people's champion. The blob, I'll tell you that.
He is a blob, man.
You got Larry in the chat. What up, Larry? Not gonna lie, Peterson can win this one if he gets takedowns, but Gaziev got the striking advantage. I mean, he's got the striking advantage for probably round one for the first half of the fight, and then he's gonna gas and he's gonna look like shit. And yeah, as Rohan was just talking about, EV, OV, yeah, exactly. Triad TV says bio-coastal counterpunch type shit.
Yes,
Whatever the fuck. I'm with you. All right, let's move on. Next fight on the card, we have Muhammad Naimov taking on Khan Ofli. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I get PTSD from looking at this fucker, Khan Ofli. I was so confident he was going to come through as an underdog against Myron Santos in the tough finals. He looked so good in his tough fights. He looked incredible. Like, his boxing was super crisp. He could get takedowns. His jiu-jitsu was nasty. He just looked so good. And I don't know if it was just the jitters or what, but he just fucking shat the bed against Santos and got viciously knocked out. I mean, it was a horrible look. And I just can't pick the guy again after that fight. I mean, it was – I don't know what to fucking say. I was so high on this guy. I was like, why is he an underdog? I fucking nuked his money line, nuked his point spread, and he didn't come through. That was probably one of my worst nights of betting, the tough fight. Oh my God, don't remind me. He's taking on Naimov. I mean, again, like even in a situation, if this fight goes to a close decision, as my boy, what's your fucking name? Larry just said in the chat, like they're just gonna give it to the OV, the EV. Yeah, I think I mean maybe hopefully the debutant jitters are away from Offley now, but then again, I just feel skill for skill, he might be outmatched here. Maybe he can get a late sub if Naimov slows down like he did in his last fight against Felipe Lima. But I don't think so. I think Naimov is pretty good. That was a good win against Nathaniel Wood. Great win against Malarkey. I mean, he took that fight in like a week's notice. Was kind of getting pieced up, but then just viciously knocked him out. Yeah, I'll take Naimov. I'm not going to bet him at minus 260. I'm not putting him in any parlays because I don't think he's the best of fighters, and I'm hoping Offley can return to his form that we saw on The Ultimate Fighter. But then again, I can't fucking trust Offley for another fucking dog shot. So I'll pick Naimov. Don't really care for this fight.
Yeah, I mean, perfect breakdown there because look, you mentioned something about Offley. You said it looked like he was nervous, and I didn't write that necessarily, but I said it seemed like he could never commit, which kind of plays hand in hand with him being nervous in that fight. Like he just looked so fucking timid and shy, like he wasn't wanting to throw. And so that made me think, oh, this guy's striking is just not good. And if you're going to look at this matchup right now against Naimov, who, I mean, he showed it against Malarkey and even the Nathaniel Wood fight. And I'm pretty high on Nathaniel Wood. I thought that dude was pretty solid. And I think both of them were that was a really good fight where both of them showed really a lot of dexterity in the striking, a lot of pace. And that's the thing with this fight is Naimov, man, he throws a lot and he throws fast, man. He throws really fast. He's technical. He showed off the power on short notice against Malarkey, knocked him out. And I think he does have solid enough takedown defense because we saw that against Nathaniel Wood and we saw that for the majority of the last fight of his against Felipe Lima. So I just think that overall, skill for skill, as you said, he's the better fighter. Offley, I mean, it's tough to know where he's at, but man, that last fight against Myron Santos, like he got brutally knocked out. And then, bro, he got brutal. Like he grabbed his head at the end of that knockout and started smashing his head even when he was out. Like it was a really, really bad knockout. And I can't trust him to outstrike Naimov. So I'm like, I think you had a great read again. Like if he can survive and make it tough enough to where he can score some takedowns late and maybe find a sub, there's your route to victory. But early on and just throughout the majority of this fight, I cannot see him winning the minutes and I can't see him finishing Naimov early. So I think Naimov is going to win. But yeah, I'm not going to bet on that either at that price just because he hasn't had a crazy win over anybody to warrant that price, but I'm with you. I think he's going to win this one.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to be said. Those Gafrov motherfuckers got good striking, pretty confident in Naimov. Yeah,
he's solid, man.
All right, next fight. Let's move on. We got Fares Ziam versus Mike Davis. Yeah, I think Ziam gets it done. I like him as an underdog. I think Mike Davis is just a little bit overrated. You just look back at it, and it's like, who has he really beat? He beat Thomas Gifford, okay. He beat Mason Jones, okay. He beat Borshev. I mean, Borshev, you can take him down. Davis did that. And he beat Natan Levy, who sucks. He really hasn't beaten anybody. This is a massive step up in competition here. And Ziam looked really, really, really good in his last fight against Matt Favola. I mean, that knee knockout was something fucking else. And he's just improving. He's improving every fucking fight. The guy's only 27. Takedown defense getting much better. And his striking is just so crisp. He's got a 2.5-inch reach advantage, 1-inch height advantage. Seems like it's more when you think about these fighters, but it's not. But still, he's just so rangy and knows how to use his limbs. And he's just a very, very fun striker to watch. And I just think he's improving at a very fast rate. And I think Mike Davis is a little bit overrated. I don't really understand the line. Currently sitting at plus 120. I like that a lot. I like Fares Ziam. I think he stuffs the takedowns and probably wins a decision off just outstriking Davis on the feet. Leg kicks, jab. That's really it. I see him sticking to the outside and getting this one done.
Yeah, look, Mike Davis, there's a lot of questions. He just is one of the most inactive fighters on the UFC roster, especially for how talented and how high people think of him. I mean, he doesn't fight at all. And I mean, Ziam is kind of the opposite. He's always fighting. He's always on those France cards. He's always, taking steps up in competition, and he's always getting better. And that's what I love about him. Because I remember watching this guy 2020, 2021, back in the day when he was first on the scene. He was around back then. I mean, fighting Malarkey, Luigi Venturmini. I remember some of these fights. Lost to Terrence McKinney by sub. No real shame in that. And since that, he's been pretty good. The only thing about him that I was always kind of iffy on and questioning was his takedown defense. And he did get taken down, I think, like 6 or 7 times by Claudio Puelles, which sucks. That's never a good look. I remember that fight. He was just holding on to him the entire time because he was losing every minute on the feet. But since then, he's cleaned that up too. He's gotten a lot better in clinch scenarios. He's a lot more confident in his strikes in the clinch. That's how he got Matt Favola. I mean, he's dirty with those knees and elbows now, and he's just one of those fighters that even on the feet, I think he's just gonna have a big advantage on the feet. I think people tend to overrate. You were right about that. They overrate Mike Davis's striking, especially. He's not that. He hasn't been anybody crazy to think that he's some elite striker. And I think Ziam is moving closer in that direction. Like, he has a plan. He has a game plan every time. You can see that he kind of stalks his opponents. And the only thing I'm really worried about here is that Mike Davis immediately starts to try to take him down and put that pressure on, because then I could see, a situation where it's a real war and he's having to fend him off a lot. And Mike Davis is somewhat of a veteran, so he knows how to, capitalize if you do get sloppy in those clinch scenarios and leave your chin up. So there are scenarios where I can see Mike Davis having success, but he's going to have to sustain. Sorry, I said that crazy. He's going to have to sustain long periods of high-level grappling, which I don't think Ziam is susceptible anymore. He was maybe, 2-3 years ago, but right now, and the way he's fighting and the confidence that he's got, especially after that nasty knockout, I think he's confident. And the price, it doesn't really make too much sense to me. So I like Ziam as a pick, and I like him as a bet even more.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. And yeah, Davis never fights. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's so weird.
We had FBA saying, I think Davis has been pretty dominant, though. He's a
hard hitter, too. That's the thing. I mean, he's a harder hitter than Ziam, I think, in the boxing department, but he doesn't mix it up as well.
I mean, he's been dominant against who?
That's the thing. Yeah, he's not fighting anybody.
This is a big step up. He barely fights. Ring rust. All signs are pointing to Ziam here. I get he's a very good fighter. He's very well-rounded, but I also think he's very overrated by fans, to be honest. But I'm interested. This fight, I'm really looking forward to, because I could be completely wrong. So we'll see. I like Ziam, though. I like him as a bet. It should be a good one. We got Combat saying, go report MMA Crazy, everyone. You trying to steal our spotlight right now? But for real, MMA Crazy is trying to take my boy Combat down. So go report MMA Crazy on YouTube. They're trying to blackmail him. It's kind of fucked up. Larry saying Davis about to pull up with a y'all must have forgot performance like Montel Jackson against Black.
That's possible. He's done it before, but I feel like every time it's like y'all must have forgot that I can beat bums, and look good against bums. So I don't know, man.
Davis biggest week. Yeah, that's probably why he's not fighting that much, is injuries. Combat saying Ziam by Macron, left wing. What did Moicano say? He said, fuck Macron. Fuck Macron. I was eating the steak in Brazil. Fuck Macron. Oh, shit.
Yeah. He's got the chance to fight.
Yeah. Next fight on the card, Said Nurmagomedov taking on Vinicius Oliveira. Speaking of underdogs, another one that I'm just going to pick outright to win. I think Oliveira wins. I don't know why we keep getting this guy at plus money, or why he's like, they're just disrespecting him. It makes no sense, but I think he wins here. I feel like the reason the line is what it is people see the last name Nurmagomedov and they think this guy is like some sort of offensive wrestler. No, he's a striker with like a really good guillotine. He's a very good striker, but he has like a 10% takedown accuracy. Like, he is not going to be able to take down Oliveira, who's extremely athletic. He's got great hips. And Oliveira, man, just on the feet, he just doesn't give a flying fuck. He comes forward, hands down. Bro, this line makes no sense. I don't get it. I like Oliveira here all day. It's going to be a striking fight. And in a striking fight who has the power here? Oliveira, right? He's going to come forward, hands down. He's going to be clocking him. And Nurmagomedov gets tired too. We haven't seen Oliveira get tired at all. As a matter of fact, we saw Oliveira land a round 3 flying knee against Sopaj, one of the best KOs we've ever seen. This line makes no sense. I like Oliveira.
I kind of get the reasoning. Like, he is one of those fighters, man. Like, he fights with just that 0 fucks given attitude. And I fuck with it, man. Like, it's entertaining. It always makes for a fun fight. And I do agree with you that this will be a striking match. Both of these guys are very, very, very comfortable in a 3-round fight where they're just on the feet the entire time. That's where they like to be. And Saeed, I mean, he's got like the striking is incredible, but also he's got just the grappling and the jiu-jitsu as like a second option that he can just lean on if shit gets tough, And I do think that the power advantage is going to be something to really gauge in this fight. He's going to have to be careful in the pocket when he's entering the pocket. But what I like about Saeed is, and why I tend to think that he's likes this matchup is because he's not one that is always looking to close the distance. Like Oliveira does better when he's closing the distance. He has to eat 2 or 3 shots to be able to get in and land those big shots. And when he does land, he's hurting his opponents. So there is that. And it's a good strategy for that, for that outcome, if you're gonna land those powerful shots and get your money back. But at the same time, man, like, Saeed is not gonna play a dumb game. I think he lost to Jonathan Martinez, but Jonathan Martinez is the king of the fucking slow the fight down, leg kick central. I'm gonna just take your base away over 3 rounds and make you kind of exhausted with my striking. And that's how it played out. But I don't know if Oliveira has that same ability. Obviously, he does kick the legs a solid amount, but I think Saeed is prepared for that. I think he even mixes it up a little bit better with all the spinning attacks that he does, the jumping attacks that he does. And then at the same time, like, if he is in a situation where he gets caught in the 3rd round where he's losing gas and he's slowing down and he gets caught and put on his back but not really knocked out, then he can, kind of catch Vinicius Oliveira in some sort of submission, because he's got a lot of guillotines on his resume.
How is he going to do that, though? Oliveira's just going to be standing and striking and just coming forward on the feet. It's not like he's going to be shooting takedowns. So is he just going to submit him?
It's true. I don't think Saeed's going to shoot takedowns. So yeah, but I'm just saying, like, as a last ditch option, like, if he is in a situation where he gets caught with some big shot and he's on the ground, he can kind of, sort of scramble and look for one of those positions where grabs the neck out of nowhere. Not to say that Oliveira is susceptible to that. We haven't seen that, but I'm just saying it's an option. But ultimately, I just believe on the feet, he's going to have so many openings to just win the points battle, because Vinicius doesn't keep his hands up. I mean, he keeps his hands low as shit. So if you're fighting somebody as accurate as and fast as Saeed, who doesn't really take too many risks, I just think that he's going to do the better damage over the course of time. But of course, I mean, the knockout option is always there. But in Saudi, if it goes to decision, who they're going to side with, number one? And he's just a cleaner striker. So it all comes down to can Vinny land that big shot? But he definitely could. So I don't hate it. I kind of see where you're coming from with the price as well. A little.
I mean, here's the thing. I think this is going to be a striking fight. And the thing about Saeed is he gets tired striking. Like, he gasses out. He gassed out against, or he didn't gas out, but he slowed down against Jonathan Martinez, who's not really trying to. His fighting style isn't trying to.
It's weird. It's just one of the weirder ones.
His leg kicks and stuff. Now he's facing a guy in Oliveira who's literally going to be walking forward the entire time like a fucking madman, and that doesn't slow down. I think there's a great stylistic matchup for Oliveira. Larry's saying that he's seen Oliveira get taken down by Simon and Sopaj. I think Saeed is not. Since when does he offensively wrestle? Like, this isn't a thing. And I think
But
Oliveira's
what he did to like some wrestlers such as Cody Stamann, like where he got him in a guillotine and like, you know, such a quick transition. It was just like that stuff like that is impressive when you're able to do that against some guys that are looked at to have such a big wrestling advantage. Not to say he's not going to look for takedowns at
that's not
all.
what yeah, it's not like Oliveira is
But
going to
it's
be
there.
short.
But he's you
How
know,
is he going to
smart
submit him if
enough.
he's not letting himself engage in the grappling?
I'm just saying I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying if that's another option and you add that on top of the fact, I think he's got more ways to win is what I'm saying. I think he's just going to beat him in a striking fight. That's just my opinion. But I think like if it does hit the ground for some random weird reason, I'm going to pick him there too. So I don't know. I just think the knockout is really the only option how Oliveira wins here. Or he completely gasses out, which I mean, it's not like Oliveira puts that heavy of a pace so where he is in your face, but he's not like boom, like Marab or anybody like that. Like, so I don't know, man. I don't know. It'll be close though. It could be a war for sure.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And you got some people in the chat. I got Ty agreeing with you as well. Saeed arguably won the Martinez and Barcelos. Yeah, he probably did win the Martinez fight. It's just it's a different matchup, dude. You can't really base it off that. But I hear what you're saying. I just disagree. I'm going Oliveira. I think it's a good matchup for him. Let's move on. Next fight on the card, we've got. Damn, we're already at the fucking featured fight. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. We're only
I know, 11 fights, bro. they did us dirty.
Did we skip any fights? Am I bugging?
I don't think so. Next is Sergey, right? Sergey Jairzinho. That's on my screen as well.
Yeah, we talked about everything. Yeah, Sergey versus Jairzinho. This is interesting. Man, Pavlovich, talk about having all the fucking aura in the world, and it's all gone in 2 fights. Gets sparked by Aspinall, and then just gets pieced up by Volkov, which I didn't really see coming at all. And now he's facing like Volkov, but fatter, shorter, and less rangy. That's what Rosenstrike is. Rosenstrike's been instead of just coming forward and trying to throw bombs, Rosenstrike's been, staying on his jab, staying on his lead leg kick, and I like that for him a lot in this matchup. I feel like it's either Pavlovich round 1 knockout or Jairzinho just winning a decision, just like Volkov did to Pavlovich. That's exactly how I see this. And I don't know. It's literally, will Pavlovich get that round 1 knockout? I mean, I feel like this is either I don't know. I wouldn't take the money line on Jairzinho. If you're going to bet Jairzinho, I'd just take him to win a decision. I think Pavlovich is very tough. Then again, we are in Saudi, so you never know with these fucking judges. Yeah, Pavlovich is going to be coming forward. He's going to be throwing bombs. Will he be able to catch Rosenstrike? I don't know. It's a tough one. I'm gonna pick Rosenstrike by decision. I'm gonna go the underdog. Just that last fight wasn't a good look, really, from Pavlovich. I like the kicks from Rosenstrike. I think he'll chop that lead leg, stick to his jab. It will get scary though. I'll tell you that. I don't know. I'm not really confident at all here, but I think the line on Pavlovich is kind of nuts. I think if he's minus 300, what's his knockout? What's his knockout line? If his money line's minus 300, his knockout line is
minus 150, 200.
What'd you say?
Minus 150, 200.
Yeah, it's minus 265. His money line.
Yeah. Okay. But okay. So you're picking Jairzinho and
I don't know. Let me think.
Look, man. I've just had so many visions of this specific fight, and it's for this reason. I thought, like everybody, that Pavlovich was like the white Francis, like the way he was beating these guys, it was in Francis fashion. It's not just because he hits hard and he's a big guy. It's because he fucking comes at you, and the way he was moving before the Aspinall knockout, the way he was moving was like, I haven't seen this since Francis. And I mean, look at the Derek Lewis knockout. He did that shit. I mean, ever since he got caught by Overeem, he's had the same exact win in every fight. It's coming forward 1 minute, I'm running right at you and looking to take your ass out with hooks, spamming hooks and overhands against the cage. He did it to Mo Green. He did it to Abdurakhimov ass. But then he did it to Derek Lewis. That's when shit got scary. He did it to Derek Lewis, and people were like, okay, is this guy for real? Yeah, he's for real. He just blitzed Derek Lewis. Then he did it to Tai Tuivasa. I mean, Tai was losing some momentum, but still to do that to Tai in 50 seconds, that's pretty impressive. And then Curtis Blades, same situation. But in all 3 of those knockouts, he's doing it because has no regard for his opponent's power. And that's what I think it was. It's does he have respect for his opponent? That's what it really comes down to with Pavlovich. And he had a lot of respect for Aspinall, but at the same time, I don't think he did. And that's where he learned his lesson, because Aspinall caught him coming inside, and he's the cleaner striker. So, of course, he caught him. But then he had way too much respect for Volkov, and it produced one of the most boring decisions that I've seen. And he just got outclassed. Man, the way Jairzinho fights, and I will say he looked good against Shamil. He looked good against Chris Daukaus. He looked good against Tai Tuivasa, but man, this is a different beast. I think Pavlovich is going to regain his sense of confidence and the sense of nobody can fuck with me when I'm just coming at you, because are you going to match me power for power? No. So what are you going to do? Point fight me. And I mean, against Volkov, who he's a little harder to hit, a little taller frame, that put a little more doubt in him. But somebody that's he might even be shorter than, I think Sergey, when these guys are standing next to each other in the face-off, he's going to be like, bruh, I'm not scared of you one bit. And then that flip is going to switch. And I think this is going to be a very, very quick knockout. We've seen Jairzinho get knocked out like that before, and I think it happens again.
It's interesting what you said there about having respect. I feel like you're right about that. Now I might be flipping sides, because I do feel like he just had too much respect for Volkov. I know there was a whole thing about them training together in the past. Maybe he was just a little too scared. So, you know what? I'm gonna flip. I do think Pavlovich finds that early knockout, but then again, I think Jairzinho decision is a great bet.
It's a great bet, because he better find that early knockout, because Jairzinho's looked more comfortable going the decision recently. Like, he looks like he can hang in there and just fight his fight. So, yeah, I mean, if it's not an early knockout, and I think Jairzinho, perfect way to bet that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We got MMA saying Sergey gonna win. Fair. What about Terrence versus Demir? Who you got? We got Terrence round 1 sub. If you want our whole breakdown, we already talked about it. Just go back about 20 minutes. You'll hear what we got to say about that one. All right, let's move on.
Oh, man. Always does this. Clicked out of the Tapology, but we're moving on to Shara Magomedov. He'll say it when he comes back, versus Michael Venom Page. One of the craziest co-main events. I cannot wait for this. He's back. He's back.
I always do that, bro.
I know you always
do it. Jesus. I think I'm on Tapology. I click the back button and
this guy.
No, and I don't do it. Okay. I'm so excited. I'm more excited for this fight than any other fight.
That's what I'm saying.
More than the main event. This is probably one of the top 3 greatest striking fights in UFC history. Probably top 2. It's either this or Adesanya Pereira. Honestly, skill for skill, this might be better. I don't know. This fight is so fucking good on the feet. I like MVP here. Yes, I hate Shara. For those that don't know, I've notoriously picked against him in every single one of his fights. I think MVP wins, though. I think he does it. This time I'm actually very confident, because here's the thing. Shara shines when his opponents are kind of, stationary, like Petrosian, just bouncing, trying to strike with him. The thing with MVP is he's going to stay on the outside, and that boxing is going to be a problem for Shara. Oh, I'm not even fucking sharing screen. Jesus Christ. Sorry. I forgot. We're back. Sorry. And he's going to be in and out with his hands. It's just, he's not going to be stationary. Shara's not going to be able to, hit him with his fucking leg kicks and shit. Maybe he'll slow him down, catch him with a few leg kicks. But, man, I just think MVP is going to be way too in and out here. I don't see how Shara knocks him out. How does Shara get a knockout here? I just don't see it. The only way I think Shara wins is the fucking judges save his bitch ass. It's going to be a close fight, probably. I'm going to pick MVP to win a decision. But then again, I mean, I like the point spread for MVP plus 3.5, because it's probably going to go to split, and they'll probably give it to Shara because fuck these judges. But I think MVP does do enough to get this one done. I just think he's too. It is just a problem style matchup for Shara. Fighting said, there's a reason why high level strikers like Ian Gary are always fucking diving for the legs when it comes to this guy. Ian Gary's a very, very high level striker, and the dude barely threw punches. I mean, he was just shooting. Both of these guys want to fucking strike, and here's the thing: both these guys are very fucking good. They're great fighters, but the outlier here, I think, is Shara Magomedov's boxing, and I think the in and out is just going to be too much for Shara. I like MVP here. I like him a lot. The line doesn't make sense at all, but then it does, because, fucking Saudi, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, they're all corrupt for these fucking inbreds. But who knows? I'm going to go MVP. Fuck it.
This is fucking, I couldn't be more excited for this fight. Especially after that Shara Magomedov knockout in his last fight against Petrosian. And I couldn't believe that you were so confident that he would lose that. And as you were with every Shara fight, which is making me even question myself right now. But man, the way he put his ass out was just so creative, so beautiful. Oh man, one of the best knockouts I ever seen. But on the other side, you're dealing with somebody in MVP, man. And it's not like he's a problem for Shara. No, he's a problem for every single body that he's faced. He only has 3 losses in his career. One of those to Diego Lima was kind of not a fluke, but it was a crazy, weird knockout. Unanimous decision loss to Machado Gary, got out wrestled because Ian realized quick that I cannot box and strike with this guy. And then has lost, to Logan Storley, split decision. Again, this guy really does not have a lot of losses on his resume, number one. And just seeing what he's done in the UFC so far, the fight against Kevin Holland, how tricky it was, the fight against Ian, how tricky it was for him. He is just one of the hardest puzzles to solve in the UFC, period. He has a unique fighting style that we've never seen before. That karate stance that he has, bouncing in and out, but darting in and out with powerful strikes, and then just evading the powerful ones just enough not to get hurt. I really don't see Shar catching it with anything because I think MVP is too elusive. He's too hard to really get clean shots off on and fight ending shots off on. Like, he doesn't give you a lot of those opportunities. And at the same time, Shara is pretty hittable. I think he has like a 42% striking defense rate or something. I was doing a lot of studying before this fight, so that's just one of the statistics I remember hearing. It could be around that range, but my point is he's a lot more hittable than Michael Venom Page. So my one concern, which I'm not too concerned about because Shara's pretty, willing and down to get into a scrap, and so is MVP. But I do have a little bit of a concern that it is like one of these fights where they both kind of are a little timid to throw with all that they have, and then it gets kind of tricky to call a pick here. But I don't see anybody getting finished. I think we're in for a real high level striking battle, and in a battle where I know somebody's just going to do a little better of a job protecting themselves, and he has a little bit harder. Presents a harder time for his opponents to get a read on. I have an easier time trusting MVP, even at his age. What is he, 35 years old, I think now? He's getting up here, 36 years old. He's getting up there.
38.
Goddamn.
He doesn't look like it.
Exactly. He's about to turn 38 very, very soon. But still, like, he hasn't taken a whole lot of damage throughout his career to make me think that, the durability is too much of a question mark here. So I just think that this guy's fighting style is one of the most incredible things that we've seen in recent, fighting history. So I'm going to back him here. I think it's going to be tough for Shar to get the reads that he's used to, and it's going to be a close fight. But if it is a close fight, the robbery potential is always there. So not too confident, but I'm going to pick MVP.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I like MVP. I think he's just going to be too elusive here. This fight's going to be great. We got Corey TV in the chat, or Corey 4VT reacts in the chat saying, I don't see Shara knocking out MVP. And somehow MVP won't knock out Shara. Exactly. I strongly believe it goes to a close decision, or maybe even split, going to Shara due to the judges hammering the plus 5.5 spread. Yo, you must be in the Discord, because if you're not in the Discord in here, folks, I gave that bet out earlier today, plus 5.5 spread, minus 1.9. I love this new thing they're doing on DraftKings, the alternate point spread. Like, you can do like plus 3. You know how the point spread works is minus 3.5.
It was only 3.5. Yeah, it was.
Now they're letting you do 5.5 and 7.5, plus 5.5, sitting at minus 190. I shit you not. I put what? No, I don't know. I did a bunch of bets. I put a lot of money on the plus 5.5 spread. So if you're not in the Discord, that's crazy. You got a great betting mind, my friend, because there's a chance that they fuck MVP over here.
Definitely.
That's a great bet. I don't see Shar getting a finish, and I think MVP, if he somehow loses, it's an insanely close fight. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. We got Lenny saying late, but right on time for this fight. So excited for this one. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great one. Lenny saying, by that take, you did not have Umar winning in the PFL. I assume you mean Usman. Yeah, you do. Yeah, that was crazy sad. Oh, dude. Oh, I don't want to fucking talk about it. I mean, first of all, I did one of those alternate spreads on Hughes, the plus 13.5, because it was a 5-round fight that, hit with ease. But how the fuck? I don't know if you watched it.
I watched the end. I didn't, after the point deduction as to where I stood.
That was the one of the worst robberies I've ever seen in my life. At the fucking best, the best for what's his fucking name? For Usman, it should have been a draw. He got a fucking point taken off. Dude, first of all, I think Paul Hughes won that fight either 3-2 or 4-1. Not only that, Usman got a fucking point taken off. How did he What judges? 2 judges gave this guy 4 rounds.
I mean, all I
Insane.
saw, so what I saw from my perspective was the last round. I thought Hughes won that round just based off the last like 2 minutes of it, where he
Yes,
emptied
bro,
the
he
tank.
did.
But then what pissed me off, because from what I saw, like even the point where I was watching from, I thought the fourth round was pretty close because Hughes laid on his back a little too long. But then, bro, after the fight, he was like, "Oh man, the only thing I'm mad about is that I don't feel like I gave my all." I'm like, bro, what do you mean? Like, and I kind of got that sense. I was like, bro, why didn't you try to get up in that fourth round? Because I thought every exchange on the feet he was winning, every scramble he was winning. So, and the point deduction, I definitely see one of the biggest robberies. But that's the PFL for you, bro. Oh my god.
I thought Hughes won that even without the point deduction. I thought he won. We got Corey saying, not in the Discord yet. Alternate bet spreads on DraftKings made me so much money. Yeah, we're thinking the exact fucking same. I love those alternate bet spreads. They've been out since the beginning of the year. I've hit pretty much every single one, except, you know what, the one that fucking I wanted to end my life over, Rohan. I did the Chris Curtis like plus 3.5 or plus 5.5.
Oh, you told me
It was
about
gonna hit. And they
you
stopped
told me
the
about
fucking fight with 1 second left. I think I had like $300, $400 on that.
that was one. There were so many bad judging fuck ups that night, but that one was so bad. Like I don't know. I think it was Mark Smith that stopped
Yeah,
it, bro. I was
fucking
like,
alien
bro, what
looking
are
at
you-
Mark Smith.
Oh man, that was funny, bro. That was
Yeah,
funny.
shout out to you though, Corey. You're the man. Triad saying MVP plus point spread. You already know. All right, it's time. Main event of the evening: Israel Adesanya versus Nasruddin Imavov. Yeah, this is a great fight, and I'll just say it right here, right now. I think Adesanya does win. I think he saves his career. I think if he loses, he retires, but I think he wins, and I'm going to tell you why. I think that Dricus du Plessis is so fucking powerful that he just hurt Adesanya early, and it just affected Adesanya for the rest of the fight, and he just looked just hurt. Like the whole fight, Adesanya just looked hurt, and I think du Plessis is just such a brute that he just hurt him, and his shots cause that much of an effect that it can really slow you the fuck down. And I think that's what happened with Adesanya. Now he's taking on Imavov, who's not that physically strong. He's not a brute, nowhere near. As a matter of fact, he's probably the polar opposite. This guy's, is very light on his feet, tit tat. I think that I think to beat Adesanya, you need to either beat an Alex Pereira, absolute physical fucking specimen like a Hamza Chimaev or a Dricus du Plessis. I don't think that's Imavov. Not only that, 5 rounds could be a problem for Imavov because we've seen some cardio issues. As a matter of fact, earlier in his UFC career, there were some bad cardio issues. I think it was getting a little bit better. You saw he finished Jared Cannonier in round 4, but then again, we don't really know 100%. Again, yeah, I'm really relying on the fact that I think Dricus is just so fucking powerful that he made Izzy like look like shit later in that fight. Like he was just hurt, and I don't think Nasruddin's going to be able to hurt him here. I think Izzy. I think it's a good spot. I think he probably wins a decision. Maybe gets a late finish. I don't think so though. I think it was a decision. And I got to go piss real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, man. I mean, that was actually a perfect breakdown. Honestly, I could give a round of applause for that because I'm thinking the exact same way. Honestly, Dricus du Plessis and guys like Nasruddin Imavov, middleweight is such a spectrum where you've got these guys that are like the Dricuses and Hamzat now, who's going to be up there, and these guys that are just physical forces, just these massive dudes that could be fighting at 205 on the regular if they wanted, but they just think they have that size advantage, so they come back down to 185. That's the type of guy that Dricus is. And Izzy's never really done that great against bigger guys. I mean, even when he moved up to 205, thinking that he was, I'm a walk around at 205 and walk in against Jan Blachowicz, he just got outpowered or outmuscled because this guy is, at the end of the day, he makes fun of it himself, but he is a skinnier frame, and he does really good against guys that are similarly built to him. And that's the case in this fight with Nasruddin Imavov. He's not ever been one to press the action enough to be able to threaten Adesanya with offensive wrestling or this otherworldly power that he has to be careful of, like an Alex Pereira. Like, you don't have to really be on the lookout for any of that kind of stuff. So what this comes down to is I think that ultimately Israel Adesanya is in a position right now where he's going to fight with a lot of emotion, as he does. It seems like a lot of these fights recently, he's fighting with a lot of emotion, but he knows how big this opportunity is to stay in the title picture. Middleweight is still a very volatile situation. We don't know, a lot of moving parts. And this is a really solid matchup because Nasruddin Imavov is another guy that is a counter striker at heart. He likes to fight at range and just go second a lot of the time. And I think, man, Izzy looked good. He looked really fucking good. I agree with you that Dricus' power surprised him and he did look a little compromised, but even in that state, he was landing clean combos until, that fourth round where he lost his head a little bit and Dricus kind of just overwhelmed him. Nasruddin can't do that. He just can't do that. So Israel Adesanya is going to feel a lot more comfortable just on the outside, picking his shots. And he said a lot of things in the lead up, like, I want to style on this guy. I want to find my joy and love for, just striking in general. And I think this is a perfect spot for him to kind of do that. And I think the outcomes are one of two things, either because there is a lot of things against Nasruddin with the five rounds. We don't know where his cardio is going to be. This is a guy that, it's just one of the best fighters of all time. That could play a factor and make him a little nervous. This is a big spot for him. I mean, this is a huge step up in competition. And he's struggled against guys at this level before. We saw when he lost to Sean Strickland. He looked good against Cannonier. I'll give him that. But man, I do think that Izzy is going to outstrike at a distance, and then eventually later maybe just overwhelm and find a rhythm and find a groove. Because when he does get in the zone, when his head movement is on point and the striking is on point, man, he's really hard to beat. And that Strickland fight was a one-off. I will forget that, throw that out the window, because I thought it was the worst I'd ever seen him look. But he looked really good against Dricus up until the finish. So I got to think that some of that is still in there and it's still at a higher level than what Imavov has to offer. So I think by decision is the safest pick, but I could also see a fourth, maybe fifth round finish for Izzy. But I got to back my boy, my favorite fighter. If he goes out sad like that, man, I'll be in a depressed state for a few days, man. But I'm going to back him. The last style bender, come through for me one more time, baby. One more time.
Yeah, that Dricus fight was so fucking depressing, dude. Like, he was
so bad.
Solid, but I think the problem with him in that fight is just that was just a horrible game plan. Like, he did exactly what Dricus wanted, which was go into a fucking war with him. Dude, I wanted that Paulo Costa Izzy, the one who
exactly.
Is
that still in there though?
What?
Because that was the fight that I was always referencing when I was talking to people, was that Paulo Costa Israel Adesanya, man. Go back and watch that. He was operating on a different playing field. Like, he was just operating at a higher wavelength. And that wasn't really the case in the Dricus fight, even if he looked good. Like, if you give me that Izzy in the Costa fight, he whoops that Dricus's ass, whoops his ass. But is that version of him still in there at least a little bit? Because Imavov is a really, really good striker too, man. Like, he is a really good striker. And I feel like I haven't given him enough credit because he's deserved this spot. Like, he is one of the top 5-6 middleweights in the world for sure. No questions asked. But this is, Izzy. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I do think this is a good bounce back spot. But then again, man, I just don't know. He's 35 now. He's lost a lot of that speed. You look at him in his early UFC days, back in his kickboxing days. I mean, the guy was a freak athlete. Just his reactions were insane. And you just didn't really see that not only in the Dricus fight, but also in that second Pereira fight. You didn't really see those, quick reactions. But I'm hoping that he was able to take some time here, regroup. And I think there's a much better matchup for him against Imavov than Duplessis. And I don't think Imavov shoots takedowns either. I think he's going to strike with him. Yeah. I don't think Imavov's got that offensive wrestling to take Izzy down. But it should be interesting. I think that's all we got. I think we're done. Justin saying Izzy money line. I'm with you all day. Not a big bet because, again, you can't look at that last fight and be like, okay, I'm hammering Izzy here. But you got a little sizable bet on Izzy here. You got to.
Yes, sir. Come through.
That's all we got. That's all we got, Rohan. Any final words?
Hey, man, go Izzy. That's my last final words, man. I just want this win so bad for him. But this is going to be a great card. Hopefully, the only thing I got to say is, for me, I got to wake up at like 6 a.m. if I'm going to watch start to finish. Jesus. And I know I'm not trying to catch no Jamal Pogues and Hamdi, whatever his name is, in the first
Hamdi, fight, so. Why are you hating on Hamdi?
Bro, I'm hating on his steroid using that. I'm hating on him. I'm hating on him. So, I'll definitely wake up for the Lucas versus Bogdan. That's a banger. But yeah, man, everybody else enjoy. Be on the lookout for Instagram content, shorts coming out, all that. And yeah, Discord as well. Check that out and enjoy. It's going to be a fun one.
Damn right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I actually remembered the outro music this time.
It's a miracle. No way. That's crazy. Yes, sir.
Can you hear it?
I can hear it. Yes, sir.
I love this shit.
I love it.
Such a great song.
Exactly.
Wait for it to kick in, right? He's about to kick in, right?
Good.
Thank you very much, everybody. We hope you enjoyed. It's been Lucas and Rowan. Everyone, let's enjoy these motherfucking fights on Saturday.
Peace. Peace.